MJF I mean, that guy continues to be gold on the mic, man. Every time that he touches the mic, every time he's on Twitter, anytime that he's interacting with human beings, I feel like MJF just continues to bring it. He's just awesome. He's incredibly smart, and the guy knows the business. For being as young as he is, the guy just knows how to mess with the fans and get people riled up. There's nobody better at kind of getting a reaction than MJF. That guy is gold. And we got to see him. We got to see the new New York Times
best performances of 2020
performance winner go in the ring with the Inner Circle. Really, for the first time, we had to see this group. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see the whole crew. But it was so nice to see Santana back with the team.
Yeah.
And we got to see the Inner Circle go up against the Best Friends and Friends tonight. And it really ended up being less of a chaotic mess than I thought it was going to be. I thought a lot of people maybe were worried that this one would go off the rails. Obviously, that's understandable when you got 12 guys going at it. But I thought that the ref and the overall flow of this match was smoother than I was expecting. What did you think, SPD?
Definitely. When Tony Khan first announced this match being a 14-man tag, I was just like, whoa, this is a little much. It's pretty exhausting.
Almost a battle royal in a tag match.
It really was, but as the match started, I really loved how it started. Pillman getting the tag in and the ode to, Pillman and Jericho being part of the tribute. And honestly, it was really a showcase of those two guys to start it off because they had a pretty long segment in the ring. Pillman was very fun to watch. He looked very, very polished, very strong. And, Jericho and him traded some pretty hefty chops for a little bit. And, he had some good offense on Jericho. Pillman did. Flying Brian.
Yep.
And then, throughout the whole match, there was a lot of chops going on. And,
MJF's chest ended up beat red at the end of the night. So that's all I can say, man. There was definitely some heavy chop work going on in this match, which I'm sure you were a fan of.
Oh, I'm definitely a huge fan of that. Overall, there's a lot. The highlights of the match, JR said a great comment how that Sammy Guevara hasn't even touched his potential. And I completely agree. Sammy Guevara, is a star in the making, if not already a star. True babyface in potential coming up. It, like you said, it's great to see Santana back. I love the part, kind of for the fans, the 6-way hug. Gotta give the people what they want.
Gotta give the people what they want. That's
Top
right.
Flight looked strong, and it was nice to see them back on Dynamite. And leading up to a match with them, Chris Jericho and MJF, which honestly, they should squash Top Flight on paper. But Top Flight it's going to be a fun match to watch. As the match was going on, I didn't think MJF really was going to get any action because they kept tagging in everyone but him.
Yeah.
But he had some great moves and Sammy was looking good. The finish was pretty sloppy in my opinion. Hager, I don't know if he was trying to kind of ode to Wardlow with the F10, but he sadly failed miserably with that. It was, it was very sloppy ending. But I liked how, MJF got the cover. So, I love the match. It's a lot of great guys and, the Varsity Blondes, which I'm still waiting for the call to get the trio, call me up, bring in the righty if they need that trio.
Bring them off the bench.
Flight and Top Flight and Best Friends, leading up to it, I wasn't that excited, but the match really delivered for me and it wasn't a hot mess, chaos all over the place. It was pretty smooth. It showcased a lot of guys, a lot of strengths, and it gave everyone, kind of the spotlight in a way.
Yeah.
And I will give it a confident elite out of the overall match. And
good for you. Yeah. I felt like going into this week, there were two matches that I was most excited about, that being the main event and this one. I know that the introductory match had some comedy and excitement in that regard, but I love myself the Inner Circle. And I think unfortunately with the MJF stuff that's been happening, it's almost been like everybody's trying to rush this group to implode. as soon as he joined. And
Mm-hmm.
I've been the advocate of pump the brakes, guys.
Yes,
Pump the
please.
brakes. Let's allow these guys to work together. Let's allow these guys to have some teamwork and to accomplish some things and then break things up. Make it
Mm-hmm.
worth something. Make it have some consequences. And you see my quote throughout here, just like, why not let MJF utilize, and he even talked about it in his promo, and man, do I freaking love his promo work. He's just so
Yes.
smart. He even talked about, like, all the people on social media and how he's trying to turn people against, he's trying to turn the inner circle against each other. But this one was great tonight. How he hears people saying that, he's such a better performer than Jericho. I love the dynamic of that this is going to go in. Jericho versus an MJF, this sort of mentor and like this mentor vibe that I'm getting from Jericho. We talked about it last week where the inner circle kind of had that ultimatum, and it felt like Jericho was playing the Godfather role. And SPD, you've been calling for it, maybe a little less Jericho in the ring and a little bit more leadership. You've been really trying to push for Jericho to, in some ways, embrace being that Godfather role in the inner circle. And I think that we may see that tug of war inside his heart go on going forward. I think that Jericho doesn't necessarily want to step away from the ring. He still, look great there.
He is in great shape
He
for
looks great
50 years
there.
old. I mean, come on.
He
Like,
looks great there. I'm not
but
gonna lie, he does.
as the leader of one of the strongest factions ever, but strongest factions in AEW to
Oh, no
date,
doubt.
um, it would be hard if I was in Jericho's shoes, no matter how old or how well I am in shape in terms of whatever, but it would be hard to sit back and watch other people do my dirty work essentially. But that's what leaders do. You're supposed to delegate,
Yeah,
but time and time again, he's in the ring. His feet are in the ring. Santana and Ortiz, they're not in the ring. Hager's not in the ring. Sammy's not in the ring. It's
that
about
is
time
true.
he lets some of these prodigies blossom. I love seeing Jericho in the ring. He is my favorite AEW superstar. He is on my Mount Rushmore. The stuff he's done for the industry overall is just second to none. How he constantly reinvents himself. But for him to essentially call the shots, next week he'll be on commentary, which will be good. Kind of a
Gold.
good break.
Oh
But
God, will that be great?
talk
Yeah, I
about
love
must
that.
see TV
Yeah, I
just to listen
love
to him
Jericho on
speak on
commentary.
commentary, but it was like you said on MJF's promo, he called Jericho the GOAT. He called him the mentor. That's the first, him saying that. It
I
just,
hope that, and again, I might just
yeah,
be a stupid mark, but I do hope that there's some legitimacy to some of what MJF's saying. I know that he's incredible. He's an incredible
oh, I'm
actor,
sure
as
there is.
New
Yeah.
York Times recognized. But I hope that there's some sincerity in what he's saying, because I really do think that although we all want to see the inner circle break up and all this stuff, I do love the potential that this story can go, SPD. I think that you really laid it out there well. I think, we forget the upside and the potential and the talent that is in the inner
Oof.
circle. Yes, Jericho gets all the buzz, and I get it because he's the marquee name. And MJF is right there behind him, right? MJF's quickly establishing himself as one of the go-to main stars that
Mm-hmm.
you got to see in professional wrestling, especially in North America.
Mm-hmm.
He's quickly becoming one of those guys. But beyond that, right, I think one of the things that I took away from tonight was just how much I miss Santana and Ortiz, right?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen the Proud and Powerful go at it in a tag team match in a long time. And, it's very easy for us to get caught up in the groundswell of how exciting it is to see all these new young teams and new faces on television, that we can sometimes take for granted those mainstays that we've gotten used to and that really have created the backbone of this company.
Right.
And Santana Ortiz are right there. I think that the inner circle, for me, SPD, I'm right there with you. I think that there needs to be more matches like this tonight where, I got an elite, but there needs to be more of a focus for me, of Jericho trying to help navigate the murky waters or the jungle of AEW and help put his team and his crew in the best positions to win. You can have Jericho accompanying these guys or helping cut promos, spotlighting on commentary, doing all sorts, being at ringside. His personality jumps off the screen. Jericho's got charisma for days. The guy is a pro, and he has a following for a reason. The guy knows what he's doing, and so he doesn't necessarily, like you said, he doesn't necessarily need to be in matches all the time to still be relevant on the AEW landscape and to still make a difference in the AEW landscape. I would love to see more of the Inner Circle, the other members of the Inner Circle, get some opportunity and some shine. And this group, like I said, I mean, this group, 7 men from top to bottom, this crew is full of badasses. I love this crew. I want to see them accomplish some stuff before we get to that breakup. I obviously there's so many great things that can come of that breakup. We want to see Hager and Wardlow. We want to see Wardlow and MJF. We want to see, there's so much that could come out of that. Sammy and MJF. But I want to see these guys gel. I want to see these guys kick some ass, make some waves, and really put on some entertaining television for a while. Help MJF get back into the title scene, and then have that ultimate falling out period. So I like what happened tonight. But going into this match, I thought that this might be a very convincing win for the Inner Circle. When you compare the resumes of these two teams, that they don't really match. You have a lot of youngsters on the other squad. Top Flight and the Varsity Blondes, they're just young teams that can't quite match up resume wise with the Inner Circle. So I had thought maybe this would be a convincing squash match, and it wasn't. I thought that this represented the young teams really well. They held their own, and the veterans came out on top. I will agree with you that the finish wasn't the cleanest, but I thought that MJF sneaking in and getting the victory and being all smiles at the end of that match was awesome to watch. And I really enjoyed that. I thought that was one of the